They're giving away two kinds of bobbleheads today, Nigel Morgan's and his good friend Tony Plush. And it is a big day here at Miller Park, the rubber match of a three-game series between the Padres and the Brewers here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Two right-handed pitchers face off on the mound. Anthony Bass makes his 13th start of the season, but first time he'll face Milwaukee, while Gallardo is poised to bounce back after losing his last start at home. Jerry and Fred back with you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin, getting set for Game 3 here this afternoon. And Yo had 10 strikeouts in his last game against the Cubs, but lost. Looked good at times. At other times, gave up a couple of home runs. But overall, Jerry, last 7 games, he's been pretty consistent as he's set to bounce back today.
Well, prior to his last start, he had 6 quality starts. And that's what you're looking at Gallardo. Last game, kind of unusual. You got 10 strikeouts, but he threw the ball very well. Just made some couple bad pitches, and he paid for those. Today, you look for Giovanni to step his game up a little bit, have that good focus. He knows this is a good game for the Brewers, a big game for the Brewers. He'll be out to prove it.
That was a rarity that he lost his last start after striking out 10 batters. Top of the line has come alive during this homestand. Guys like Corey Hart and Nori Aoki are poised to set the table for the big hitters here this afternoon. Villa and Rock are set for the first pitch with you for Game 3 coming up next.
On Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. A warm summer Sunday here in Milwaukee. Corey Hart getting ready for today's final game of the series with the Padres. He and Nori Aoki, they've been very good at the top of that batting order. And hi, everybody. We welcome you back from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us today. It's the final game of this series with the Padres. The Brewers have a chance to make it a winning series at a winning homestand and rock the top of the order. Starting to get a little settled now for Ron Renneke with the emergence of Aoki at this point and Corey Hart in the leadoff spot.
And it's taken an awful long time with all the injuries and guys really not being productive. Ron Reddick's finally found two guys that he is comfortable with at the top, and both of these guys have been swinging the bat well right now, including slugging percentage. Corey Hart, no better way to start a game with a home run or an extra base hit. Brian Braun, he's going to give you whatever he's going to give you, and Aoki has been outstanding as well as of late. Last 3 weeks, Aoki has really been a big surprise both at the plate and in the field, but the top four, they got to get it done.
Yeah, Ron Reddick says if you're going to win, you got to be settled at the top. We'll see if the Brewers can keep it going here. A series is on the line. The rubber game with the Padres trying to make it a winning homestand. Game 3 coming up next. Sunday baseball in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it is Nigel Morgan bobblehead day here, and a jam-packed crowd filing in, getting set for the final game of the homestand, the final game of the series against the San Diego Padres. Well, there is Bud Black. The Padres have not won a road series all year. This is big for them. They've only won 6 road games all season, and they're in a position to win a road series. The Brewers would love to prevent that and hit the road on a winning note. Let's check the Piggly Wiggly batting order for Bud Black San Diego Padres. Will Venable back in the leadoff spot today. Logan Forsythe bats second, and Chase Headley batting third. In the middle of the order, it's Carlos Quentin, Yonder Alonso, and Cameron Maben. And then John Baker, who had the big hit yesterday. Everett Cabrera, the shortstop, and Anthony Bass, 24-year-old, on the mound for San Diego. That's the batting order that will face Giovanni Gallardo. And Rock coming off a loss his last time out, looking for a bounce back against the Friars.
In a rough first inning, gave up a 3-run home run to Soriano, fell behind early, and he suffered a 10-0 loss at the hands of the Cubs, coming off a great month of May where he was 3-2 and a 2.89 ERA. He lost to the Padres on May 2nd at Petco.
And the defense behind Giovanni Gallardo this afternoon. Ryan Braun, Nori Aoki, Corey Hart in the outfield. An infield of Aramis Ramirez, Edwin Masonette, Ricky Weeks, and Taylor Green. And Martin Maldonado does the catching behind the plate for Gallardo. That is the Menards Brewers defense. And a couple of changes defensively for Milwaukee. Beautiful day today. It's 88 degrees, and the wind is a factor today. It's coming in from the south. It's whipping through Miller Park. Sunny skies. It's a hot one on the field, and you figure the ball is going to travel a great deal today. There are the umpires today: Jim Joyce, the crew chief, Jim Reynolds, Vic Carapazza, and Mike DeMuro on the bases. One of the great strike calls in all of baseball. Jim Joyce behind the plate. One of my favorites. First pitch on the way, and a swing and a foul. Venable up there ready to hack, and we're underway from Miller Park. Brewers dropped 2 out of 3 to the Pirates on the first leg of the homestand. They won 2 of 3 from the Cubs and have split the first 2 games of this series. So a swing game by all means here. It means either a 5-4 homestand or a 4-5 homestand for the Brewers, depending on today's outcome. And this one has a little more to it, Rock, I think, than most others. I know it's early in the season. We're only at the 10th of June, but the Brewers desperately needing a win against a team with one of the worst records in baseball as they hit the road. Venable lifts that one high in the air to left. Ball traveling well. Braun is back, and it's gone. So the Padres started with a bang. Will Venable with his 5th homer, and Gallardo's first inning troubles continue.
They had a rough first inning against the Dodgers on the last road trip. We talked about his struggles against the Cubs in the first inning. And Will Venable taking one to the opposite field. You mentioned the wind has been swirling here at the ballpark. Looked like gave a bit of a push to that baseball. Got under it, did Venable, but they carried out of here into the Brewers bullpen.
And a fast start for San Diego today. The very light hitting Padres, the worst home run hitting team in the National League. They don't hit many, but Venable now with 5 on the year gives San Diego a 1-0 lead as Logan Forsythe batting second, even in the count 1-1. Venable's been nursing an injury, an oblique injury, and he's just getting back. A little strain in the side. Back in the starting lineup for the 2nd consecutive game. Forsythe has started all 3. Talented young infielder settling in at second base now for the Padres. This is his 8th game started this year after an injury at the end of spring training that required surgery. Had a foot injury. Fly ball traveling deep to right. Look at this ball carry. Man, oh man, as Hart makes a catch just in front of the wall. Take it back to Gallardo's last start. It was not a good one against the Cubs, and it was really a slow first inning that got him a 3-run homer by Alfonso Soriano. But it was interesting, Rock. He struck out 10 batters in 5 innings in that game.
Yeah, it was one of those crazy outings. He had a great curveball, but he gave up 2 home runs, which was really his undoing. Brewers ended up losing 10-0. He gave up 5, but 10 punch-outs in 5 innings for Yo, but yet he gave up 5 runs. Something you don't see much.
6 innings and the 5 earned runs and 10 punch-outs for Giovanni Gallardo. Gallardo combined with Zach Greinke. Greinke struck out 12 Cubs the next day. Those 10 strikeouts a season high for Gallardo. That one's hit high and deep to left field. Back is Braun feeling his way to the wall. And he's got it! Ryan Braun, what a catch! Takes one away from Chase Headley.
I'll tell you, 3 balls that didn't appear to be hit all that well that nearly got out of here. One of them did. One to right stayed in the ballpark, and Ryan Braun, he may have just pulled one back or pretty close to it. Another opposite field shot by the Padres. Look at Braun, he feeling for the wall, reaching up. Might not have gone out of the ballpark, but would have certainly been extra bases. Nice catch by Ryan Braun.
Right on the corner. That would have been close. Excellent play by Braun. So a home run and 2 outs caught just shy of the wall, 1 at the wall.
Could be
Carlos
one of those,
Quentin fouls it back.
Could be one of those days here at the old ballpark.
It's got the feeling to it, right? That south breeze blowing, the temperature is up. Ball always travels better when it's hotter.
Not a good day to be a fly ball pitcher.
Well, that's a big lift for Gallardo. See if he can get through this first inning with no further damage. Carlos Quentin had the day off yesterday, also returning from an injury. Quentin has been swinging a hot bat since coming back from right knee surgery. He returned to the lineup May 28th. Bouncing ball to short, Edwin Masonette. And the first inning is over for Gallardo. We head to the bottom of the first. The Brewers coming up. Flashed in a little leather early. Great play by Braun to get us started this afternoon. The Padres leadoff hitter, and Ron Roenicke and the Brewers will have to play from behind before their first at bat. Roenicke in his second year as the Brewers skipper finished second in the Manager of the Year voting in the National League last year to Kurt Gibson. His Piggly Wiggly batting order: Corey Hart moving back out to right field today. Aoki bats second with Braun third. In the middle, it's Ramirez, Green, and Weeks, and Maldonado, Masonette, and Gallardo round out Roenicke's starting 9. And that lineup will face Anthony Bass, 24-year-old right-hander out of Trenton, Michigan.
And 12 start. He's got a complete game this year. 2-5. Both of his wins this year have come in day games. And the splits on Bass, interesting. He's got 2 wins during the day, a very good ERA, 2.5, but he's 0-4 at night.
His lone road win came against the Washington Nationals. He likes to work quickly, facing Corey Hart to start this bottom of the first. Anthony Bass played his college ball at Wayne State, but a Midwesterner, a 5th rounder by the Padres in 08. They like him a lot. They moved him out of the bullpen the second week of the season, moved him into the starting rotation on the 12th of April, and they feel like they have something special in this kid. Bouncing ball back up the middle, ranging over Cabrera, and a good play over there at first. Alonso scoops it, and Hart is retired. Let's check the rest of the Padres defensively. Carlos Quentin in left, Maven in center with Will Venable in right, and then on the left side it's Chase Headley and Everett Cabrera, Logan Forsythe and Yonder Alonso. It's the same infield that we've seen in all 3 games of this series. John Baker catches Anthony Bass, and a low throw from Cabrera dug out of there by Yonder Alonso. Good play.
You see how low he got, tried to get his eyes as close to the level of that bounce he could, and made a nice pick. Veras has struggled in his last 3 starts. He's given up 15 earned runs in his last 3 starts. That covers 15 in the third, so he has not been able to eat up many innings for the Padres in his last 3.
Aoki takes a strike from Bass. 0-2 the count. Bass made 2 starts last year and was impressive enough that Bud Black gave him a shot on the big league roster to start this year out of the bullpen as insurance in case a starter went down. And sure enough, Padres lost a couple of starters relatively quickly, and Bass entered the rotation not too long after spring training ended.
Yeah, Bass not overpowering. 91, 92 with the fastball, slider, and a changeup. Normally has pretty good command. 26 walks is all in 68 in the third innings.
Aoki down on strikes. So 2 up and 2 down for Bass, his first strikeout. And here comes Ryan Braun. He's already made an impact on this game with his glove. If you're just picking this up, this was in the top of the first against Chase Headley. Braun going up against the wall.
And he knew exactly where he was in this Miller Park warning track. It's a little bit deeper than most. You could see him just trying to feel for that fence with his hand, but able to time his leap perfectly and call it in.
Great sound off that wall as well. Taking you right down there on the field. Our audio man, Eric West. He's got mics everywhere. Braun hitting .306 this year. 14 homers, 37 runs batted in. Braun tends to struggle during day games, especially when the shadows creep across. He's been pretty vocal about how hard it is to see the baseball here at Miller Park. So he'll have to overcome here today as he shoots one foul.
Yeah, with 267 batting average for Brawny during the day, but that includes road games and 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, day games for Ryan. Not too bad.
Abundant sunshine today. The 1-2 pitch, and Braun bounces to short. Big hop for Cabrera, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Anthony Bass.
Giovanni Gallardo told me he's felt good about his command over the past month, but says he has to be careful to avoid that big inning or that one mistake that have hurt him this season. Yo also told me the team has loosened up a bit over the past 2 weeks. He feels that they were trying too hard earlier in the season, playing a little bit more freely and more easily, guys, and that usually translates into better baseball.
Well, you can understand. Thanks, Mark. You know, a team that has an injury problem throughout their ball club, not just in the position player ranks, but the pitching ranks, and everybody trying to do a little bit too much. And it seems like the Brewers are a little more settled. I like that word because they feel more settled. And I think Renicky made a good point before the ball game today. He said we're settled when we're swinging the bats, and I can get at least the top of the order settled. And Rock, you're a big proponent of that as well, as Yonder Alonso shoots one through the middle for a base hit.
Now you can have some guys moving around the batting order, different guys playing on a daily basis, but you can't have that at the top of your order. 1 through 4, even 1 through 5 should be pretty consistent, and it usually is on teams that are consistent in scoring runs. 1 through 5, really. If you're going to play platoons, if you're going to do different things with your lineup, it's got to be in the bottom of the order. And right now, Ron Renicky very happy with 1 through 4.
Now, no manager wants to tinker with his lineup. He hopes that everybody has success and he can just let it ride. But that has not been the case this year for Renicky and the Brewers. Little squibber over to first. Green's going to take it to the bag for the out. Takes the short out. And Green, I think, having second thoughts. Maybe he could have gone to second. But this is another story for the Brewers. They've got guys playing first base that aren't necessarily used to the position.
Right. Everybody, as a matter of fact. Corey Hart, Taylor Green. We've seen Conrad over there. So, when you're a little bit unfamiliar, not used to making that throw to second base, you take the shore out anytime. Especially when you're dealing with the bottom of the order coming up.
So Alonso singles, Maben bounces out, and here is John Baker. He delivered the big hit yesterday for the Padres. He put San Diego ahead for good at a 2 RBI single. Has 2 hits in the series. 1-0 Padres on a home run from Will Venable. And a strike from Gallardo. 1-1. Little tapper to the mound, and it goes right through the legs of Gallardo. And Baker's going to be safe at first.
That'll be an error on Yo. That's a ball you got to handle. He just missed it, basically. Didn't have far to go. He stuck the glove out, just missed it. Went right through his legs, and all hands safe. That'll be an error. Good pitch, but did everything right except for catch the baseball. Glove just not down enough, and that'll be an E1.
Gallardo, normally a very good fielding pitcher, uncharacteristic of him, and the error leads to an opportunity for the Padres with Everth Cabrera at the plate. 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Brewers lost yesterday. They won the opener, but then dropped game 2 yesterday.
The Brewers in general have been playing some pretty good baseball since they got to Los Angeles on the last road trip. Able to string together some wins, but not able to really find that consistency. This is a stretch in the schedule, as we've been talking about, where you would think if the Brewers are going to make some noise, this is the time to do it.
Now coming up next for Renicky and the Brewers, a road trip to Kansas City and Minnesota. Got 3 in Kansas City, 3 in Minnesota, and then right back here at Miller Park. 2 balls and a strike on Cabrera.
The Brewers have been doing everything right on this homestand except swing the bats well. There have been times, but the pitching's been pretty good. The defense has been very good for the most part. Just got to score some more runs.
Gallardo trying to prevent a few here. As Cabrera taps one fair, And the play is at first, and out is the call. Boy, oh boy. A run scores. Green picked it up fair. I think everybody else thought it was foul. The Brewers do get an out, but the Padres get their second run, and there is an ugly start to this one.
Well, it's going to be a 3 to 4 put out, but look at Alonso running hard right from contact, and I guess at this point in the ball game, Taylor Green not sure if that ball was going to go foul or not. He picks it up, and he was kind of surprised it wasn't a play at home plate.
So that's an RBI for Cabrera. 2 outs in the inning. John Baker advances to second base, and a couple of decisions for Taylor Green in this inning that has cost the Brewers here. He did not go to second with Alonso at first base on the little grounder from Maben.
Yeah, it's one of those tough decisions. I mean, we're here in the second inning now. If you let that ball go foul and then Cabrera rattles one off the wall somewhere, I mean, then you wonder why he didn't pick it up. So if there's any doubt in your mind, you pick it up and get it out somewhere, at least as you sit here in the second inning.
Well, the fact that Cabrera is so fast as well, that puts a little pressure on the decision making as well. Anthony Bass is 3 for 24 at the plate this year, the Padre pitcher. Has 3 runs batted in as well. Did all that on 1 hit. He cleared the bases earlier this season against the Giants. Swinging a foul tip into the middle Maldonado. A strikeout for Gallardo. Padres score another run. They lead 2-0. Game of the series between these two, and of course Bud Black and Ron Renneke connected under the Mike Scioscia managerial tree. These guys were all together, including Joe Madden, for the 2002 World Series championship team. And we had a chance prior to the series to ask Renneke and Bud Black to comment on each other.
Buddy's very intelligent. He's got good communication skills. Good guy. He knows the game. So I really like him a lot.
You're not going to outthink him. You know, we're all together. I know what they're thinking, and he's a good one. He manages a good game, and I know that from all the years that we were together, talking baseball with him, and a lot of his thoughts on in-game strategy and handling players. It's superb.
Interesting thoughts between the two. They're both still good friends. They communicate a great deal. All those guys do, as a matter of fact. Joe Madden, Ron Renicky, Bud Black, and Mike Scioscia, they're in constant communication via text message. It was a great piece done by Tom Verducci on MLB Network this offseason with those four. Very entertaining, and I'd say Renicky's probably the, what'd you say, the scholar of the bunch. He's the quiet one in the group. Madden's a big personality. Scioscia's a big personality.
Bud Black's kind of quiet. You're right.
Yeah, Bud Black and Ron Renicky they have their side of the bus.
But it's been kind of a trying year for both of them. You're talking about all the injuries that the Padres have had. 15 guys on the disabled list. Brewers have not been able to stay healthy either.
Ramos Ramirez bounces out. That is the third 6-3 ground out already. First four batters.
Got good sink of his fastball this bat. Sinker, slider, changeup. We haven't seen any changeups yet, but he's a young man that relies on command, keeping the baseball down. That's always an important thing to do when you're playing in a ballpark like Miller Park on a day like today, where the ball is traveling pretty well.
That'll bring up Taylor Green. Bud Black commenting on Ron Renicky and how he thinks he's a thinker, and there's a lot of thought that went into today's lineup with Taylor Green. Renicky's trying to find a spot for Green, ideally suited for second base, but Green has played third base. He's actually played shortstop. He came up as a shortstop, as a matter of fact, and played shortstop in college. But first base is where he gets a spot, and that's why he's in the lineup, because he can hit. On his way to second, and now on his way to third as Venables struggles with that ball in the corner. Taylor Green standing up at third base with one out.
And sometimes, you're behind home plate, you see that ball go down in the corner, and for some reason it never comes out. You never see it coming into the infield. That means there's trouble down in that corner with the right fielder. And Taylor Green whistles this one right down the line. It was a slider. Hits it hard down the line. Venerable had a long way to go. Had some problems with it. And it's going to be a triple for Taylor Green down there in the corner. Ball got right by him in between the wall and the glove. No error listed on the board as of yet.
It's a lot to deal with over there against that wall.
And there is an error now. It's a double and an error.
So Green at third base with one out. And here is Ricky Weeks.
And Taylor Green having a tough time getting triples. You remember what happened in New York on it?
That's right.
Hit that ball they dove on it. It went right under the glove all the way to the wall. It was a single and an error.
Yeah.
This will be a double and an error. So the elusive triple for Taylor Green.
Cutting into his total bases. Oh, great chance to score here. The Brewers with a runner at third. Padres will concede the run even on a ground ball. And the outfield playing deep against Weeks. A lot of ways to score a run in a spot like this, even with an out. 2-0 on Weeks. Make it 3-0 on Ricky Weeks. Bud Black's biggest key with Anthony Bass, his starter, he does have some control problems when men are on base, and he walks Weeks on 4 straight pitches. First and third with one away. Hey, a reminder that Sundays on Fox Sports Wisconsin, you can join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends, and this week it's Juan Marichal. Boys in the Hall after the game today, presented by Subway Restaurants, where winners eat. Martin Maldonado with Brewers at the corners in the second inning. I think it's a pretty consistent theme for young pitchers. The inconsistency is now Darren Balsley is out, the Padre pitching coach. But Rock, you see a different pitcher with a lot of young hurlers when they have the bases clean and they're in the windup and things are going well, and as opposed to when men are on, there's traffic on the bases and they're in the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about being able to compose yourself and minimize the damage when you get a guy on third base with one out. Sometimes they try too hard, as opposed to just saying, all right, there's a guy at third, one out. If he scores, so be it. What I have to do is minimize the damage. So sometimes these young pitchers, they try and make the perfect pitch. You end up walking the next guy and then giving up a home run. So instead of 1 run, you give up 3.
And that's that delicate balance. You know, you talk about a pitcher from the minor leagues to the major leagues, having to learn that in the major leagues. You know, ideally, you'd like pitchers to go through a lot of those scenarios in the minor leagues. But the Padres promoting players quickly. Brewers are too, out of necessity. So it takes a good psychologist along with it. Maldonado got one in on his hands. And this won't do it here. That's a pop up to the shortstop Cabrera, out number 2. So Bass comes back, makes a good pitch, and gets an out here in the 2nd inning that he needed. Runner still at first and third.
And Maldonado upset with himself. He had a 1-0 count. Same pitch. Up and in. This time he goes after it and pops it up. Just like young pitchers have to settle down when there's men on base. Young hitters as well.
Yeah, good point. Edwin Masonette batting 8th today. At the pitcher spot next in Gallardo. Padres lead 2-0. The Brewers with 2 on. Masonette comes in hitting .194. He is 7 for 36 in the big leagues this year. He's bounced up and down twice from Milwaukee to Nashville. As a homer and 4 RBIs, and it was a grand slam home run during the last homestand. Update on the injury front. The man that Masonette replaced on the roster, Cesar Izturis, was out earlier today with another injured player, Travis Ishikawa. They were running the bases. Izturis is out with a hamstring injury on the disabled list. Ishikawa, the first baseman, on the DL with an oblique injury, and both will be headed off to minor league rehab assignments soon when the Brewers hit the road. Izturis is probably closer to returning than Ishikawa.
And you got Marco Estrada to that list as well. He's thrown some bullpens. It won't be long before he's on a rehab assignment. So the players on the DL that can come back are not far away.
Yeah, I'd say within a couple of weeks, and Renicky would get a number of his key players back. So in the meantime, this group of young players from AAA Nashville getting some opportunities.
Yeah, this is a situation right now where it becomes very difficult to be a number 8 hitter. Sometimes you have to expand your strike zone in situations like this. A 3-1 count, pitcher on deck, 2 outs. You want to be the guy to maybe drive in a run here. And you know that Bass is going to be careful, knowing that Gallardo is coming up next. You have to know when to be aggressive, know when to be patient as a number 8 hitter.
Hitters count for Masonette, the Brewer shortstop. And right off the end of the bat, Bass makes a play to end the inning, and the Brewers strand a pair with 1 away, come up empty in the 2nd.
About Marco Estrada. Some more information about Marco. He threw off the mound this morning, did some light fielding. Ron Renicky said the session went well and that Marco will throw a simulated game Tuesday in Kansas City, a bullpen session Thursday, hopefully get sent out on rehab next weekend. Renicky says Marco is still not comfortable running on plays like covering first. Marco told me this morning, guys, he can't wait to get back. He said he's tired of being just a cheerleader.
Yep, and I think that sentiment resonates throughout the Brewers clubhouse. They have quite a few cheerleaders down there with so many disabled list entries. Estrada with a quad injury did it while at the plate on the last homestand as a hitter.
It is a packed clubhouse down there, isn't it, here at Miller Park?
A lot of crutches and wraps and bandages, and got to take a number to get into Dan Wright's athletic training room these days with the Brewers. But the Padres don't want to hear anything about that. They put 15 players on the disabled list this year. The Brewers 8.
We even had a sideline reporter in there this week.
That's right. Venable, who homered in the first inning.
Mark Cannon drilled with a baseball in the side of the head. Was that during batting practice, right?
He still showed up and carried on.
Didn't flinch.
Ricky Weeks takes care of Venable for the out, one away in the third inning.
Purchase a Corey's Corner ticket package for $35. That includes your outfield ticket and a Corey Hart t-shirt. A portion of the proceeds benefit the American Heart Association. Visit brewers.com/heart. Yeah, Mark didn't even have a mark.
No mark on Mark.
Not a mark on Mark. Tough guy.
Tough guy, and took one right in the ear. No problems. Well, hopefully better days are ahead for the Brewers on the injury front. Even the players the Brewers have are a little nicked up. Guys like Aramis Ramirez and Ryan Braun. Leg injuries. Ramirez still nursing a quad injury. But the skipper says no excuse. We've got enough. We've got enough pitching. We're okay in our key spots. Got season-ending injuries with the first three of this group: Narveson, Gamel, and Gonzalez. And Estrada hopefully be back soon. Jonathan Lucroy may be around the All-Star break, probably after. Ishikawa and Isturis, as I mentioned, soon heading out on a minor league rehab assignment.
Yeah, that's not even half of the list that the Padres are dealing with. All around baseball, a number of players on the disabled list. It's amazing.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Gallardo against Forsythe. Down the right field line, foul. Now, what we've seen early in this ball game, the baseball is traveling well. Forsythe hit what looked like just a routine fly ball to right in the first inning. It ended up sending Hart to the wall in right field. Ryan Braun made a great catch on Chase Headley, robbing him of a home run, or at least an extra base hit.
And the Brewers just haven't been able to elevate the baseball, with bats out there on the mound, doing a nice job sinking it. Of course, they've only been through the lineup once.
Got him. Forsythe down on strikes. Gallardo threw him a slider, and Forsythe is retired. The second Gallardo strikeout.
Yep, pulled on it. He thought he was going to take a walk, but that was pretty much down the heart of the plate. And Forsythe a strikeout victim, second of the day so far for Yo.
And 2 gone in the third. Here is Chase Headley. Headley's been a tough out in this series.
Headley's got great numbers against Gallardo. Before today's game, 5 for 10 and a home run.
And he almost had his second career homer against Gallardo in the first, if not for that outstanding play by Ryan Braun. Chase Headley came up as a third baseman. They moved him to the outfield. They thought maybe a left field spot following the pattern of Ryan Braun might free him up offensively, get him in the lineup a little bit more. And then they moved him back to third base last year. Headley in this series has 4 hits. He's 4 for 9. A .286 hitter throughout the season.
A switch hitter that hits pretty well from both sides of the plate. And good opposite field power from the left side. We saw that in his first time up.
2-2. Make it 3-2. Headley has a great eye as well. He is 4th in the National League in walks coming into play today. 37 walks for the season.
And that's the thing when you play at Padres. There's 2 guys that you look at and you say, these guys can't beat us. It's Headley and Quinton. And when Quinton was on the disabled list, you knew that Headley wasn't getting a whole lot to hit. You got to be patient. Not going to throw you strikes. Don't swing. You're not doing anybody any favors.
Gallardo loses him. A 2-out walk. Headley is aboard. I think that's been one of the areas of concern for Gallardo, finishing innings off. He would like to see more improvement in that category. Gets to 2 outs. Even though you might not give up a run after a 2-out walk or a base hit, it still adds to your pitch count. And for Gallardo, who's trying to be more efficient, trying to pitch deeper into ball games, that all adds up at the end of a start. Carlos Quentin, little half swing, and he was able to check it. Ball 1.
Yeah, that's the thing with his last start. His pitch count, you knew it was going to be high early on because he had 10 punch outs in 5 innings. He also gave up 5 runs. So because of all the strikeouts, pitch count, it's impossible to keep that down. What Gallardo would love to be able to do is to get more outs early in the count. It's one of the reasons why he came up with that cut fastball.
Eric Kranitz, the pitching coach, is always encouraging Gallardo to use his changeup, which used to be his bread and butter pitch coming up through the minor league system, but he's lost it here in the big leagues. Runner goes. Maldonado from his knees. Oh, and it gets by Weeks into center field.
That was a nice throw, too. Wow.
Headley advances to third base.
What a throw by Maldonado from his knees. I couldn't tell on regular speed if that ball bounced or not, but Ricky and Headley and the baseball get there all at the same time, and unfortunately that's going to be an error on somebody. Look at this throw. I mean, that ball's in the air. Unfortunately it's going to be an E2. Or is it? I mean, that's a good throw. That shouldn't be an error on the catcher.
Ricky takes that ball in front of the bag. That's an out. He took it behind. I think he was waiting for the short hop, but it had a little more life.
That was a good throw
than he expected.
You can't expect a better throw than that. Somebody's got to catch it.
Well, now Quentin takes strike 2. Gallardo committed an error last inning, and that would lead to a run for the Padres.
It's going to be an error on Ricky.
So an E4 on Weeks. Here's the 2-2 to Quentin. Bouncing ball foul.
On further review, it did look as though Ricky should have had it.
Not a good start to this game defensively for the Brewers.
Well, but how about that throw by Maldonado?
Something, huh?
Boy.
That brought back memories of Benito Santiago.
I'll say.
Throwing from his knees.
That's a heck of an arm.
Runner at third with 2 away. Quentin takes ball 3.
Ball down in the strike zone, and look at Maldonado. Look at the way he gets some momentum going as though he's on his feet, but that's a nice throw. That's a lot on that throw too from his knees. All arm.
Payoff pitch. Quentin swings and misses. Down he goes on strikes. Inning is over. Third strikeout for Gallardo. The error doesn't bite the Brewers here. 2-0 Padres. Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Big crowd today, a sellout here at Miller Park in the afternoon sun. And temperature soaring into the low 90s today in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A heat wave is on here on the 10th of June. Great to have you with us on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers and the Padres today. Take a day off tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you Tuesday as Zach Greinke matches up against the Kansas City Royals. Greinke, the former Royal, won a Cy Young Award with the Royals. So that'll have a little added spice to it as well on Tuesday night. Gallardo leads off 2-0 Padres. Breaks his bat. Everett Cabrera been very busy today.
Hey, at every non-marquee home game, fans can purchase a half-price Lowe's bleacher ticket in the Club Goodwill bleacher section at Miller Park. Club Goodwill tickets are sold at the ticket windows in left field.
Nigel Morgan bobblehead day today, bringing out the fans as Corey Hart with one away back to the top of the order for Milwaukee. Anthony Bass getting plenty of ground ball outs, and Everett Cabrera has had 4 6-3 ground outs today, assisted on 4 of them. He's also had a put out, so of the 6 outs, 7 outs now. He's been a part of 5 of them at this point. The San Diego shortstop.
And again, his first time through, the only Brewer hitter that has ever seen Bass before was Aramis Ramirez. So early on, pitcher has a bit of an advantage. Let's see what kind of adjustments the Brewers are able to make here today.
And Hart didn't want to do it. Little half swing. He cuts through for strike 3. Second strikeout for Anthony Bass. And with 2 outs, that brings up Nori Aoki. Well, Aoki plowed his way into the home run category with not 1 but 2 on Thursday against the Cubs. Powerball home run count now at 3. His first one was an inside the Parker. Aoki had a game winner, the first walk-off homer of the year. Thursday afternoon against the Chicago Cubs. And then he and his interpreter, Kosuke Anaji, took the shaving cream pie to the face, which was also a first in the successful career of Norichika Aoki. Bam, bam. Markham and Gallardo, and George Kataris getting involved. Look at Markham just for extra insult.
Mark Cannon spared, though.
That was one of the best moments of the year right there for the Brewers. The home run, the pie in the face. That'll be one that we'll talk about after the season for sure. Great moment for Aoki, who draws a walk here. He has been very impressive. And Rock, you said give him a little time to settle in. Let him see a few of these pitchers. Let him get his feet on the ground. But boy, has he ever had a great run here over the last month of games. Aoki in his last 24 hitting .333.
Yeah, he barely got any playing time at all in the month of April. Then you had some injuries, guys not getting the job done. All of a sudden he's forced into the lineup and starting to become a little bit more successful up there at the plate. Actually a lot more. He's made some adjustments mechanically. He's made some adjustments as far as his approach. And really doing a good job pulling the baseball in the right field. He didn't do that early in the year.
No, he's aboard for Ryan Braun. It's typically a no-no walking the hitter in front of Braun, especially with 2 outs. Aoki is aboard, and Braun a chance with 1 swing of the bat to tie this thing up. Braun grounded out to short his first time up against Bass. Ryan's been able to hit for average on this homestand, but is without a homer and just 1 RBI so far. In this, the 9th game of the homestand. You don't see Braun go that long in an RBI drought that often, as he's hit by a pitch. Aoki was off with the pitch. Braun is drilled. And the Brewers with 2 on with 2 out here in this 3rd inning.
Ryan Braun seeming very frustrated at the plate the last couple of days. That one got him right on the elbow, it looked like. A flip of the bat. And Ryan Braun thinking about maybe a couple of years ago when he missed some time after getting hit there.
Braun ended up on the disabled list a couple of years ago when he was hit by Jeff Karsten's pitch of the Pirates, and that's why he wears that brace now on his elbow, and that might have spared him a trip to the DL right there. Well, 2 on, and Aramis Ramirez with a chance. Brewers trail 2-0. They have just 1 hit. The only hit for the Brewers off the bat of Taylor Green in the 2nd. He doubled down the right field line. Ramirez grounded out to short in his first try. Rock mentioned that Ramirez is the only Brewer who had seen Bass in his career. That was just in 1 game. Ramirez was 1 for 3 against him and actually homered. That 1 hit was a home run while playing for the Cubs. Runners go. Ramirez back up the middle. Cabrera is there, and he throws him out. Inning over. The Brewers strand 2 more. Still 2-0 San Diego. The fourth, Padres coming to bat against Gallardo. And a reminder that this July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer. Baseball's greatest stars will battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game, Tuesday, July 10th, 6:30 p.m. Central on Fox, 1 month from today. Ryan Braun currently third among National League outfielders. And we're encouraging you to go to Brewers.com, vote the maximum 25 times per email account. See if we can get your favorite Brewers to the All-Star Game once again. Yonder Alonso will lead off for the Friars here in the fourth inning. He singled and scored in the second. Jim Joyce barks out strike two against Alonso. 0-2 the count. Alonso was 2 for 4 yesterday. He snapped an 0 for 21 run at the plate yesterday as a career long streak for him. Had a couple of seasons with the Reds up and down, getting his first real chance to play every day in the big leagues after being traded from Cincinnati to San Diego.
Yeah, hit the ball hard his last 3 times up in yesterday's ball game. Drove in a run. Gave the Padres a 5-2 lead. A little bit of insurance. That was in the 7th inning.
2-2 the count on Alonso. Gallardo with 3 strikeouts through 3 innings. Alonso had a good cut. He was disappointed he fouled that one off.
Now, the pitch before that didn't miss by much. Looked like Giovanni wanted it. He looked in hard at Jim Joyce after that last pitch.
Another payoff coming from Gallardo. And Alonso hits that one sharply to left, but Braun able to run it down.
Yeah, check out our GMC keys to the game. The Padres get off to a quick start. A leadoff home run by Will Venable. That gave him a 1-0 lead. And then in the second, after an Alonso base hit, Everett Cabrera with a ground ball down the line. Taylor Green picked it up. No play at home and got the out at first. 2-0 San Diego as we play here in the fourth.
And it'll be Cameron Maben with one away. The free swinging Maben. He's been nursing an injury as well. He's had some pain in his side as well. I don't know if it's the oblique necessarily or the lat muscle. Did it on a swing. Right off the end of the bat to Weeks. And there is out number 2 for Gallardo. Gives us a chance to look at our AT&T trivia this afternoon. The question today is, what team did Trevor Hoffman start his major league career with? Has his number retired as a San Diego Padre, number 51. So who did he start his career with?
You know that one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me too. We'll stay quiet for a while.
Now, the guy that was on that team was in the ballpark today. Matter of fact, there are 2 that are in the ballpark today that were on that World Championship team.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Hoffman came up in the Cincinnati organization as a shortstop. Broken bat, flare. That is going to fall. Aoki was playing very deep. And John Baker is on with a single. A 2-out hit. Gallardo just having a hard time finishing out innings. Made a pretty good pitch there, but Baker able to muscle one into center field.
Yeah, Aoki plays a relatively deep center field, much deeper than does Carlos Gomez. Much more comfortable going in on baseballs, not so much going back. That's why he plays deep.
So a 2-out base runner bringing up Everth Cabrera. Was credited with an RBI on a ground out in the second inning. Little bouncer along the first base line. Taylor Green picked it up. The run scored. And Cabrera was put out. But that did plate the second Padres run. Cabrera's been a good hitter. Matter of fact, Bud Black made it a point that Cabrera has played so well that they are no longer considering Logan Forsythe as a shortstop at this time. They're going to leave Forsythe at second base. Cabrera gets the everyday job at short. Jason Bartlett was the shortstop to begin the year. He's on the disabled list with an injury to his right knee.
Man, Cabrera's been the toughest out in this lineup this weekend. All 3 games, he's put together some good at bats. He hit that inside the park home run on Friday. Has not been an easy out.
Has 3 hits. That homer, he's driven in 3. Scored 3 runs as well. Doing all that damage out of the 8th spot in the batting order. 2-2 on Cabrera. Speedy Padres shortstop. This guy can really run. Two and two with 2 away. And that one misses away. Another full count for Gallardo.
And Jim Joyce on a couple of occasions has not given Gallardo that outside corner. It looked like Giovanni thought that would have been a strike. A couple of times in this inning thought he had strike 3.
Baker takes off. Cabrera takes ball 4.
Man, another one. Well, you reward a hitter for taking that pitch with 2 strikes. Where'd that miss? Umpires just don't seem to be willing to want to call strikes. That looks like a good pitch.
That's a 2-out walk. Gallardo has issued 2 walks in this game, both coming with 2 away. And now in trouble once again. He's had to make a lot of stressful pitches early. The pitcher is up. Gallardo fields that one cleanly and makes a play for the out. Padres strand 2. Still 2-0. The Brewers coming to bat.
Miracle League of Milwaukee unveiled its brand new playing field yesterday in Brown Deer at the YMCA at Swan Road. Teddy Werner, the Brewers Senior Director of Business Operations, and Marty Wronski, Brewers Vice President and General Counsel, part of a terrific team that led the efforts to build the facility, which will provide area kids with special needs and their families a chance to play and enjoy baseball. B.A., I know you were there yesterday as part of the opening ceremonies. How great was it to see the smiles on those kids' faces?
Oh, it really was. It was an honor to be there, and I'm so glad that they invited me to MC the event. It was a very heartwarming day, and I think gives all of these kids with special needs, the disabilities that they have, they can't play on a grass field, so they have the rubberized field, and it works beautifully. It's a great setting cut there in the trees, and congratulations from creating something from nothing, and as I told Marty and Teddy, something that has great meaning and will be impactful for those kids and those families. They have their opening day at the Miracle League. So here we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. We were watching Jim Joyce between innings. He walked all the way over to the Brewers dugout, and he was in a little bit of an aggressive conversation with Brewers manager Ron Renneke.
Talking about Martin Maldonado, the way he's been catching the pitches that he's been calling balls. There's a new one for me. I didn't call it a strike because he's not catching them properly.
Forsythe makes the play. And Renneke arguing. Joyce made sure he was heard loud and clear.
It's called a strike. Everybody will be happy, Jim.
So one away, Green is retired, and here is Ricky Weeks.
Now these days I think sometimes hitters go up there, they have 2 strikes on them, a pitch will go by. I think they're shocked that they're not rung up. And I guess if I'm a hitter in these days and you get a very tough pitch on the outside corner, why swing at it? I mean, you're not going to do anything with it. The only thing you can do maybe is foul it off, but you have a pretty good chance. If it's not getting a lot of the white of the plate, it might be a ball. Good chance it is going to be a ball. I don't blame the hitters.
So counter to what baseball has been. You know, if you ever get a chance to watch some of these classic games, sometimes they air these games from the 50s or the 60s on MLB Network. They're a great study to watch. It's not just the strike calling, but the pace of the pitchers, the hitters.
Hitters are swinging.
And they're in the box.
And you're talking 70s and 80s too.
Yeah.
It's not just back in the 50s and 60s. Game has changed a lot. It really has.
Well, Jim Reynolds raises the thumb on Ricky Weeks, unable to check his swing. Fans here getting a little frustrated with the men in blue today as Weeks is down on strikes. You can be the judge here.
That slider in the dirt, and I'll tell you, that view, it didn't look like it, but let's see the side swing. Yep, it looked like he went.
Second out of the inning, and that is the 3rd strikeout.
It is very rare when you start that bat that you're able to hold up before it goes across home plate.
Well, here is Martin Maldonado.
You know, back in 70s and 80s, there was never really a big emphasis on pitch count, working the count like there is today. 100 pitches, 110 guys gone. Didn't used to be, and hitters are up there trying to work the count a little bit, get deep into the count, get that pitch count up, get into the bullpen. I mean, that's the objective of most offenses these days.
We were talking to our colleague Bert Blyleven when the Twins were in town, and I thought he made an interesting statement. And he's still around the game every day as a TV analyst with the Twins. He said, I could never pitch in today's game.
Right.
With the taking of pitches, the strike zone, and that was a pretty interesting statement from a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Who lived on the corners.
A lot of complete games. He wouldn't have had the complete games that he had if the game was like it is today.
Maldonado bounces to 3rd, and that is the inning. No problems for Anthony Bass. A 1-2-3 inning in the 4th.
over southwest corner of Kenosha County. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, I knew you knew that. They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year, so don't look at me like that. I knew you knew it. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You really didn't know that.
Yeah, right there in Kenosha County.
Just trying to make you look good.
Nice. Everybody's a big fan of the Tavern of the Game across the country. When we get emails from text messages, tweets from overseas. So here we go to the 5th inning. Will Venable leads off once again. This is the 3rd time he's led off, the leadoff hitter. He started the game with a home run in the 1st inning. Bouncing ball to second, and Gallardo has got 2 ground ball outs from him since, 1 gone in the 5th. Take it back to our AT&T trivia question. And the question today, what team did Trevor Hoffman start his major league career with? The answer, the Florida Marlins, 1993. Yep, he was traded to the Marlins from the Reds. He's an infielder coming up in the Red system. Had 2 of his career saves with the Marlins. Kind of pitching in a long relief, middle relief role there. Then he was traded to San Diego. They inserted him into the closer's role. And the rest is history. Hoffman finished his career in Milwaukee, 2 years with the Brewers. And got his historic 600th save as a member of the Brewers. He finished with 601 career saves.
They had Trevor on our broadcast when we were in San Diego. Doing well. He's working for the front office with the Padres. Shows up whenever he feels like it. That's a good job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's seen some of the minor league players, and he's pretty active in some of the evaluation. Does a lot of video work. We always enjoyed having Trevor Hoffman on. And he still has great memories of Milwaukee. There's his brother Glenn, longtime coach, former big league manager. 2-2 to Forsythe as he fouls one away.
Yeah, Glenn Hoffman's been around baseball a long time, 30-some years. I think he was telling me today, 36, 7 years. Glenn Hoffman. We were teammates with the California Angels back in the 90s, 89 and 90.
Glenn was with the Red Sox for most of his career, at least the beginning of his career. An infielder. Two and two. Gallardo to Forsythe. And he got him to chase one. Foul tip right into the mid of Maldonado for a strikeout.
And the next Brewers homestand is a quick one as they host interleague play, and a visit from north of the border. The Toronto Blue Jays visit Miller Park June 18th through the 20th. Go to Brewers.com or call 902-4000 to get your tickets now.
Toronto right now in the American League East, sitting just ahead of the Red Sox. They're 4th in the division at a game over 500, but the Blue Jays are just 4 back of the front-running Tampa Bay Rays. A tight division. This extra layer of wild card certainly adds to the drama this season. You know, the Brewers 5.5 back to start play today, trailing the Cincinnati Reds. I'm very interested to see how it affects trading as we approach the trade deadline at the end of July, with so many more teams still in the race. There'll be 2 wild card teams in each league this year. 10 teams total making the playoffs of the 30.
It could be 3 teams in one division in the postseason. Pretty good chance that might happen in the American League East. Every team but the Red Sox are over 500 right now.
A lot of interleague baseball going on today. This is the only non-interleague game on the schedule. Brewers Padres. 2-2 pitch. Headley in on the hands. And Aoki makes a catch. Good inning for Giovanni Gallardo. That's the one he needed. 3 up and 3 down in the 5th. Back at Miller Park on a 90-degree Sunday afternoon here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is hot. Padres lead 2-0. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Mark Kincannon, our reporter, Pat O'Connor and Chris Withers in the truck. And it's a delight to have you with us. We'll see if the Brewers can find some offense here against Anthony Bass. A 2-5 record coming in with a 4.21 ERA. And he is working on a shutout through the first 4 innings. He's only given up 1 Brewers hit. That was a double by Taylor Green in the 2nd inning. Bass has walked 2. He's hit a batter.
And Brewers have not played a run since the 4th inning of yesterday's ball game. Got to get something going.
Edwin Masonette leads off. He's down 0-2. Masonette was at the plate with runners on his last time up. Hit one right off the end of the bat, a little cue shot to the pitcher to end the inning, and the Brewers stranded 2. The Brewers have left 4 on thus far.
That's one of the issues that the Brewers have had so far today, trying to pull the baseball with Bass out there. A lot of 6-3s. There's a 5-3. Guys rolling over on ground balls. Bass seems to have some pretty good late movement going down. Can't try and pull him.
Howard missed, and it's 2-2 on Masonette. Well, that didn't miss by much either. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count goes full. This would be big if Masonette could reach. You got the pitcher coming up next. That 8th spot in the batting order is so important, as you hope to turn the lineup over. Anytime you can get your pitcher to the plate with a chance to bunt and advance a runner, you feel good about the way the inning could shape up with the top of the order right after the pitcher. Masonette takes a called strike 3.
Yeah, surprised by the slider. It looked like a fastball. It looked like it was going to be high. Then it Had a late break to it. Well, check it out. It was supposed to be outer half. Ended up backing up, and that looked like it had the plate. Just fooled him, that's all.
So Masonette is retired, a strikeout. That's the 4th K for Anthony Bass. And here is Gallardo. Yesterday the Brewers stranded 11. And developing a similar theme here early in this game. Padres won yesterday 5-2. Ross Ollendorf, in just his second Padres appearance, picked up the win, beating Mike Fiers. Padres did make the move we expected yesterday. Andrew Kashner sent to Double-A. Kashner started yesterday's game. He went just 2 1/3. He hit his pitch limit. And he's headed back to the Texas League to stretch out and try to become a starting pitcher. Well, he's got an electric fastball.
Yes, he does. 100 miles an hour yesterday.
He was doing that in the first inning in yesterday's game. I'm sure he's going to have to find some kind of cruising speed. But in the meantime, Ross Ollendorf will most likely take over the rotation for the Padres.
Now the Padres promoting Brad Boxberger from AAA. He's in the bullpen today.
It's another guy who was involved in that trade for Matt Latos. Padres getting the mileage out of the players they received in return. There's a called strike 3. Gallardo is rung up. Back-to-back Ks for Anthony Bass.
Exact same pitch that Masonette got rung up on. The backup slider. Well, you see the spin on it. You see slide you expected to break away from you. It didn't. Exact pitch that Masonette took.
So 2 men are out. Top of the order now. Here's Corey Hart. The Padres received 4 players in the Matt Latos deal. Yonder Alonso, Edinson Volquez, and now Brad Boxberger, all in the big leagues with San Diego at one time. Cincinnati at the top of the division. They have a great lineup. Probably the 2 best offensive teams in the National League, the Reds and the Cardinals. Two pitch to Hart. And down he goes. And that's tough to take as Corey Hart is barking a little bit. And again, And the first two on the same pitch. Check this out. Masonette on the right, Gallardo on the left. Both for called strike threes.
Yeah.
And then Bass came back against Corey Hart and another called strike three on the Brewers leadoff hitter that rings the bell according to Jim Joyce, and a 3-strikeout inning, and Hart was not pleased on his way out.
Yeah, it was high enough, and whether it had to corner, who knows, but Corey Hart not very happy with Jim Joyce.
Carlos Quinn diving stop. Ramirez the throw to first in time. Outstanding play by the Brewer third baseman. Quinn swinging away on the first pitch, and one gone in the 6th.
Yeah, good pitch by Gallardo. Got in on his hands a little bit. And look at Ramirez. He made a nice play like that in yesterday's game. Certainly that quad injury has not given him much problem defensively. Covering a lot of ground, able to jump up and make the throw.
Yonder Alonso takes one low. 2-0 San Diego. The Brewers have just one hit today. Alonso singled and scored for the Padres in the 2nd inning. Scored their 2nd run. Bouncing ball to first. Nice and easy for Taylor Green. 2 outs. Well, Donald Driver's Dancing with the Stars win has opened a whole new world of business opportunities for the Packers receiver. You can find out how his newfound fame is expanding his horizons off the field. Jesse Temple has a story at foxsportswisconsin.com. Did you know that Donald Driver won Dancing with the Stars?
I did, but what kind of business opportunities does he need? I mean, he's doing pretty good right now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, open up some endorsement opportunities with
open up a dance studio.
Yeah, there's a nice play. Green coming off the bag, and Gallardo with a very quick inning. 1-2-3 retires the Padres in order. Presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time. The racing sausages underway. You know, today's Sunday, so that's when the little sausages get to partake. Not a whole lot of effort going on with the Clemens sausages today, but you got to have the equal handoff. And then watch these little guys tear out of here.
Oh, that you get too much momentum going. He's going to knock down the little weenies. You can't do that.
No, that's bad form.
You're like bowling pins.
So that's always a lot of fun on a Sunday. You know, they're family sausages. Polish winning today, if you're keeping score at home or even if you're not. Nori Aoki ready to lead off. The Brewers being shut out through the first 5 innings on a 1-hitter by Anthony Bass. Got Aoki leading off, then Braun, and then Ramirez. Brewers are 4-4 on the homestand, desperately needing a win here today. Slow roller. Cabrera coming in, throw to first. Not in time. Infield hit for Nori Aoki.
And once that ball got over the head of Bass, you knew that Aoki was going to have a pretty good shot at beating that one at first. Cabrera doing the best he can. He played a little bit more shallow for Aoki than he would for somebody else, but still not able to get there in time. A good transfer, but the throw is late. The advantage that Aoki has with that swing technique. He's on his way out of the box as he swings and able to beat it.
There's a base runner the Brewers are looking for. A man on in the 6th for Ryan Braun. Braun was hit by a pitch his last time up. On that pitch, Aoki was attempting a steal. We'll see how aggressive Aoki is on the base paths against Anthony Bass. Braun has 3 hits in the series. He's 3 for 11. Looking for his first RBI of the series against the Padres. There goes Aoki. Pitches a ball, throw is into center field. Aoki on his way to third. A stolen base for Aoki, his 5th of the year, and then a throwing error gives the Brewers an excellent scoring chance in the 6th.
That ball just died as it got to second base. Baker a little slow at the feet. His arm dropped, and that throw had really no chance of being on the money at second. That's not even close. A little bit lazy with the feet. And that's what it takes. Gotta have quick feet, get in position to throw, and you throw on top. That's the way that arm drops, and that's what the ball does. Just sails on you.
Ball and a strike. Braun at the plate. And he waves and misses. Chased one. Unusual swing for Ryan Braun.
Good slider by Bass. He's got a good one today. Has not made a mistake with it yet.
Now the Brewers certainly have to cash in here. Got a runner at third and nobody out. And the 1-2 to Braun is laced into center field. That is going to get down. Aoki will score. And Braun with an RBI single. 2-1. The Brewers within a run.
Hey, can't make mistakes with Ryan Braun, and that was a mistake by Bass. Tried to come in. He left it out over the plate. It was a fastball. And Braun able to dump it into center field. Cameron Maben playing very deep out there in center for Braun, as you would expect. Braun gets one out over the plate. It was just served into center field. Our Pizza Hut delivery of the game. Ryan Braun's first RBI in the series.
Just playing a little pepper with Anthony Bass. Delivers the run. Well, that's why he is so good at what he does. Shortened up the swing. And now Ramirez, that gets by the catcher, Baker, and Braun will advance. Big swing and a miss by Ramirez. That was not a foul tip. A clean swing and miss, and Braun advances into scoring position. Unforced error by the Padres.
Well, catcher's having a tough time. The error got him to third, and now a wild pitch. That's one that Baker's got to be able to handle. That wasn't that bad of a pitch. That could possibly be a pass ball.
A base hit could tie it. Ramirez would love to give the Brewers the lead with a long ball here. That will be a pass ball on Baker. And Ramirez into left field. Carlos Quentin easing back. Braun's going to tag. And Quentin gets off a good throw. So Braun stays put. Ramirez just missed one for the first out of the inning. Powerball home run leaderboard right now looks like this. Braun leads the club with 14, then Corey Hart with 13. Taylor Green, who digs in now, has 2 homers for the year. They both came in pinch hit appearances. And Green will have a chance to tie it up. There's a strike on the outside corner. Sinker from Anthony Bass. That pitch has resulted in a number of ground ball outs today by the Brewers.
There was a slider in on Taylor Green that he hit down the line for a double. You can see why Bass is trying to work him away. Everything, both fastballs on the outer half.
Green out in front of one. Cabrera is back in the grass. And the Padres shortstop makes a catch for out number 2.
Hey, it's time to ramp up your efforts, Brewers fans, and get your favorite Brewers to the 2012 All-Star Game in Kansas City. Fans are able to vote online at Brewers.com. All fans voting 21 times or more will be entered to win Ryan Braun's Miller Park Suite for a night. Log on to Brewers.com and cast your vote now. The 2012 MLB All-Star Game is Tuesday, July 10th at 6:30 p.m. Central, only on Fox.
Ricky Weeks with 2 outs. Braun at second, the tying run. Brewers have scored. Ryan Braun driving in Nori Aoki. And Braun took off. Nobody at second base. Not a bad idea from Anthony Bass.
Yeah, Braun thinking about it, but a good reverse move by Bass, keeping him honest.
I think what's encouraging watching Ryan Braun as we do, the fact that he is pretty active on the bases. Usually when he's wanting to run or taking off like that, he's feeling good. His legs are. He's got the Achilles tightness and dealing with a groin strain as well. Got problems with his hip. Two balls, no strikes on Ricky Weeks. To be a big spot for Weeks. And it's 3-0. Ricky drew a walk back in the second inning. Bass walked him on 4 straight.
And Bass's pitch counted to 88. It's been a while since he's been at this many pitches. Perhaps tiring a bit.
Ball 4. Another 4-pitch walk to Weeks. And 2 on. Now the go-ahead runners aboard for Milwaukee. Darren Balsley out from the Padre dugout. The pitching coach wants to have a chat with Anthony Bass. You've got Martin Maldonado coming up.
Only 2 times this year has Bass been able to get over 100 pitches. Last time out, 79 against the Giants.
So here comes Martin Maldonado. And looking for a little deja vu from Friday night against the Padres. This was in the 4th inning, and it was a big one. A 3-run shot. His second career Major League homer gave the Brewers the lead for good in that game.
No doubt he could turn around a fastball. That was 95 there. Up in his zone against Volquez.
It was a 2-1 deficit when he stepped in. Made it 4-2 lead when he hit it out. And that one's hit well to center field. Did he do it again? Back is Maven at the wall. And it is up and out. A home run for Martin Maldonado. A 3-run shot. Deja vu for Martin Maldonado. 4-2 Milwaukee. Straight away center field. Maldonado just snuck it over the wall. And the Brewers lead by a pair now as Masonette swings and misses. What a moment for Maldonado. And he's starting to string a few together here.
Yes, he is. A slider right down the middle, first pitch. Maldonado waiting for it, and he hit it well into center.
His third big league homer. And he has made them count the last two, giving the Brewers the lead.
Anthony Bass out there in the mound saying to himself, that's an out easy at home. Petco Park. Not here, not today. Ball's carrying pretty well. I always tell when a guy seems to be tiring a bit. You know, all the ground balls that Bass was getting early. A lot of outs in the air last couple innings. Or at least this inning.
And Masonette sends one high and deep. Back is Maven at the wall. Can't get it. Masonette on his way to third. Maven's down. And it'll be a triple for the Brewers shortstop. Maven hit that wall hard in center. And a 2-out triple by Edwin Masonette.
All of a sudden, Bass making some mistakes with that breaking pitch. It was a home run that was a slider, and a slider from Masonette that he bangs off the wall in center. He wasn't making those mistakes early in the game. That pitch up now, and the Brewers hitting it well. That's a ball that probably should have been caught by Maven. Didn't go off the wall, but he did. Looks like he's going to be all right, but a good inning offensively for Milwaukee. 4 hits after having only 1 to start the inning.
First career triple for Edwin Masonette. And the Brewers in business in the 6th. All of this coming with 2 outs. Maldonado's 3-run homer, and now Masonette the triple. And Bud Black's going to make a pitching change. He'll make a double switch here. So out is Anthony Bass. We'll set up the new hurler when we continue. To by the athletic trainers. Pitching change here. The Brewers have put 4 on the board, and time now for our AT&T U-verse reverse replay. Martin Maldonado for the second time in this series, belting a 3-run home run that gives the Brewers the lead. That was just a moment ago, and he squared up on one to center field. His 3rd homer of the season. Had just enough.
And the more you see of this young man, the more you like him, both at the plate and behind the plate.
Here's Gallardo now with Masonette at 3rd. And the new pitcher for the Padres, Brad Brock.
Yeah, 23rd appearance, a pretty good earned run average, under 4. A lot of strikeouts, 26 of them in just over 20 innings of work.
Kristen Orfia in right field. And that moves Venable to center on the double switch by Bud Black. 2 outs. Gallardo takes a strike.
Not often you make a pitching change with the other pitcher coming to the plate. That's what Bud Black did there. Not real comfortable with the location of the pitches for Bass.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Gallardo who hit a home run in San Diego last season. It was the only run the Brewers scored in that game. Bud Black certainly knows Gallardo can handle the bat. You just wonder how much it had to do with Anthony Bass as opposed to Cameron Maven, who looked like he was shaken up.
Yeah.
And if you have to make a change defensively, you might as well make the double switch. At any rate, Brock pitching to Gallardo. Bass goes 5 2/3. 5 hits, 4 runs, and all 4 coming in the 6th inning. Down he goes. Gallardo strikes out. Inning over. What an inning it was, though. The Nashville Sounds coming up big for the Brewers here in Milwaukee. Martin Maldonado, a 3-run homer, takes it from a 2-1 deficit to a 4-2 lead. It's brought to you by Toyota. The Padres getting a home run to lead off the game by Venable. Another run coming in on a little squibber down the first base line. RBI for Evan Cabrera. It was 2-0 San Diego until Braun drove in the first Brewers run in the 6th. And then Martin Maldonado for the second time in the series, batting with the Brewers down 2-1, hits a 3-run homer. Maldonado's 3rd career Major League homer. What an impact he is making on this ball club, and it just extends the success of the Brewer catching core this year. Jonathan Lucroy having a career year before the injury. Kataris has been very good back there offensively, and now Maldonado is picked right up where Lucroy left off. So now Gallardo pitches with a 4-2 lead, facing John Baker, and there is strike 2. Gallardo's been on a roll here lately. He's retired 7 straight. Has 4 strikeouts. It was big. He was able to strand 2 runners in the 4th inning. And now the Brewers with the lead. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And it missed low. 2-2 on Baker. Gallardo's pitch count is approaching 100 now. As he works here in the 7th inning. That's one thing Gallardo's been able to do for the most part every start. He had the 2 short outings against the Cardinals. But other than that, he's gone either 6 or 7 innings, and he strikes out Baker. A good way to start the 7th.
And after a rough couple of innings to start out, 1st and 2nd, he's still under 100 pitches, so that's pretty good for Yo as we work here in the 7th inning. Good off-speed pitch by Gallardo.
Time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Gallardo topping out at 94, and we saw Bass at 95 miles an hour. Cabrera slaps one to 3rd base. Ramirez just in time. That is a play made famous by Rafael Furcal. Cabrera trying to do the same. That is a planned, talk about pepper swing, just trying to put it in play.
Just try and bounce it right over to 3rd baseman, but just didn't hit it hard enough. Ramirez knew he had to be quick, and he was. He got him by a step.
I don't know anybody who does it better than Furcal. He gets a number of hits on that every season. Good try by Cabrera, but Ramirez makes a nice play.
Yeah, it's a good play when a 3rd baseman is in front of the bag. You just try and chop it right off the dirt in front of the home plate.
There's a hot one by Denorfia, his first at bat, and he singles into center field.
Rod Carew used to do that once in a while. Got to have pretty good bat control to do it. I would imagine, Oki can do it. I mean, not the same, but it looks like he tries to do it. And Denorfia hits that one hard up the middle. First base runner since the 2-out walk by Cabrera back in the 4th inning.
Snaps a string of 9 in a row. As Venable swings at the first pitch, fouls it back. Gallardo's up over the 100 pitch count right now. That's 101 for him.
When you get through the 7th inning with the lead, you got to feel pretty good about your chances with K-Rod and Axford waiting.
Venable into the gap in left center. Braun able to cut it off. Denorfia on his way to 3rd base, but a good throw from Braun keeps the potential tying run at 1st. So Venable with 2 hits against Gallardo, and more 2-out damage against Giovanni. Decision time for Ron Renicky. Renicky has Jose Veras in the bullpen, and Renicky's going to make the change here. With Logan Forsythe coming up, Gallardo's day looks like it is coming to an end. But Renicky hasn't made the call just yet.
maybe just biding his time. Not sure if Veras is ready. He had to get up quickly.
He's going to leave him.
Just wanted to see how he feels. The pitch count's in pretty good shape, as we've mentioned. 103 pitches. That's nothing for Gallardo.
How the posture has changed too. I think when Gallardo saw Renicky coming out to the mound, he shrugged his shoulders. He kind of figured, well, he's going to take me out here, and he was disappointed.
Right.
Now he gets a chance to finish up this 7th inning. A move like that can go a long way if Gallardo can get through it. Logan Forsythe at the plate. There's a hot one to short. Masonette on a hop. Nice play. Took a step back. Played a better hop, and the Brewers get out of the inning. Gallardo needed one more pitch to get through it. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. And as our custom here, we'll turn it over to the Brewers PA announcer Rob Edwards for Miller Park's presentation of God Bless America. The Padres, it was a 4-run 6th inning and a 3-run homer by Martin Maldonado. Braun had the other RBI in the inning, and No score here. Carsoup.com, email the booth question. Rock, what was the strangest conversation you ever had while standing at first base? That was from Ed in Wisconsin Dells. So the strangest conversation you ever had. Well, you played a little first base. So
yeah, I could go two different ways. I don't remember a crazy conversation. I mean, I mentioned any names, but one time I was up, I got hit in the neck by a certain pitcher. Went to first base, and our conversation was how crazy the pitcher was.
You literally were hit in the neck?
Literally in the neck. Right under my jaw.
Because that's kind of the slang, you know.
Hit him in the neck.
Hit him in the neck.
And I did.
And you got hit in the neck.
Yeah.
3-1. Corey Hart, a big wave and a miss.
You'd be surprised. I mean, there's not that many crazy conversations going on out in the field. A lot of times it's, you know a guy from the minor leagues or something, and you have a chat, say hello. I mean, it's not as crazy as you think, at least not in my case.
I think that's the irony of it, is that you're in the middle of this fishbowl, you're playing in a major league game, and the conversations are just pretty ordinary.
Right.
Swing and a miss. Brock strikes out Corey Hart for the first out of the 7th inning.
Well, two up, two down for Brock, and both of them strikeouts. A fastball to Corey Hart, swings over the top of it.
And here is Nori Aoki at the plate today, presented by Wendy's. His infield hit set up a big 4-run 6th inning. He started the inning with a base hit, stole a base, went to third on an error, and then Braun drove him in with a base hit. Ball with a strike on Aoki. Hitting an even 300 for the season after his infield hit. A 3-time batting champion in Japan. Just a couple of years ago, he had 358 in the Central League, playing for the Yakult Swallows. Aoki has his family here, his wife and baby. That's probably having a settling effect on Aoki as well. It's been a good part of the first part of the schedule. I think about 6 weeks without his family. Now they've all been reunited here in the States. I love the way Brad Brock pitches, his pace. I mean, he's a guy that gives off a lot of energy and life on the mound.
Yeah.
A lot of crisp motions. He takes the throwback from the catcher right back on the pitcher's mound and ready to go again.
Yeah, Bass worked pretty quickly as well, though.
There's a walk. Aoki aboard again. This guy's only getting better and better. Nori Aoki starting to play with a lot more confidence now.
And it really seems like it's probably just my imagination, but he seems like he's running better. He's running quicker. Seems to be faster on the bases.
I think you're right.
Getting down the line much quicker.
I had a scout in Los Angeles tell me that he had it multiple times under 3.9 seconds to first base on a ground ball. That's very fast. Had him as fast as 3.86 seconds to first on one occasion.
But again, his batting style kind of helps him in that regard. I mean, he's on his way to first. Seems like even before he hits a baseball.
Brad Brock against Ryan Braun. Boy, knocked the mask off of John Baker.
Man,
wow.
That'll shake you up. Yeah, they're great to see. I mean, you get good visibility with those masks. the bars that protect your face are very close to you. You've got a lot of area to see. Your peripheral vision is very good, but foul tips like that do not feel good, even with the conventional masks that have more protection, more padding. Wow. But that hurts.
Yikes.
Mask coming right off. That's like a punch right in the nose right there.
Baker will remain. Jim Joyce giving him a little extra time here. A common courtesy between umpires and catchers. They take care of each other in that regard.
Umpire ordinarily, when a catcher gets shaken up, will go out there and dust off the plate, whether it needs it or not. And when an umpire gets dinged up, catcher go out there and maybe talk to the pitcher a little bit, give him some time.
Braun sends one deep to left, and there it goes. Ryan Braun with a 2-run homer. 6-2 Brewers as Braun connects his first home run in the month of June. First homer since May 29th at Dodger Stadium. And now 3 RBIs in the game for Braun, makes it a 6-2 Milwaukee lead.
Well, went down and got that one. It was a slider, middle in. Didn't want to throw it there, but Ryan Braun made him pay for it. Brawny going down to get it. Nice short stroke, and look at the ball fly. Just jumps off his bat. Second homer for Milwaukee. Responsible for 5 of the 6 runs.
Aoki drew the walk with 1 away. Braun with a 2-run shot as Ramirez fouls 1 away.
It really is amazing how much winning the Brewers have done when they hit a homer, and how few victories they've had without hitting a home run. Only 3 this year.
The Brewers hit 4 home runs here on Friday night en route to a victory. 2 homers today. Maldonado a 3-run home run that gave the Brewers the lead, and then the 2-run homer by Braun just a moment ago. With the Brewers homer, they are 24-16. If they hang on to win today, they'll go 9 games over 500. Just 3-16 when they failed a homer.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Ramirez pops this one up. Drifting into foul territory, Alonso makes the catch for the second out. Ramirez is 0 for 4. But the Brewers haven't needed his bat. A lot of production in the last 2 innings for Milwaukee. Remember, Anthony Bass had a 1-hit shutout going into the 6th inning. Now the Brewers with 6 runs on 6 hits, including 2 home runs. That home run for Braun, number 15 on the year. And with the 3 RBIs today, Braun has now driven in 40 for the season.
Just such a nice short stroke that Ryan's put on the baseball his last 2 times up. Yeah, the RBI base hit, then the home run.
Green, a little tapper. Brock makes a play, side retired. But Ryan Braun gives them what they paid to see. A 2-run homer. Number 15 of the year for Brawny. And it's 6-2 Milwaukee. forward to Tuesday night in Kansas City. Beautiful Kauffman Stadium. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Brewers against his old team, the Royals. It'll be Luis Mendoza for the Royals. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? That's what's coming up in Kansas City. A ton of changes here. Corey Hart comes in to play first base. And Carlos Gomez enters the game in center field, which will move Aoki to right field. And the new pitcher is Frankie Rodriguez. So Renicky into his late inning relievers with a 4-run lead. K-Rod takes over. He pitched yesterday. And he'll face the middle of the Padres batting order. Chase Headley, Carlos Quentin, and Yonder Alonso.
Yeah, scoreless inning yesterday for Francisco Rodriguez. Gave up a hit. Also struck out a couple of batters. One of the rare times you're going to see K-Rod pitch while the Brewers are trailing. Usually it's when they're tied or ahead. K-Rod felt as though he needed an inning yesterday just to stay sharp.
Yeah, we were talking to Ron Renicky before the game, asking him about K-Rod in the game in that spot, and he said that, you know, K-Rod's been working through some things on the mound. His fastball velocity is up, but he's missing with it. So he called down, said, I'd really like to pitch today. I feel like I'm close, but I need to get some game action to get where I want to be. So the manager obliged. And you do that with a veteran pitcher, especially one with a track record of Francisco Rodriguez.
Well, he knows himself better than anybody else.
The Brewers have a day off tomorrow, so you're not worried about pitching in too many games. Rodriguez will always take the ball. Terry Collins said, the manager of the Mets, while K-Rod was a Met, said he felt good about using him up to 5 days in a row, and then it was a mandatory day off, even though Rodriguez would still want the ball.
That's a lot. 5 in a row.
I remember Francisco Cordero, when closing for the Brewers, pitched in 6 consecutive games. But the law of diminishing returns starts to apply at that point. 6-2 Brewers. All 6 runs coming in the last 2 innings. A win today would mean a series win, back-to-back series wins for the Brewers, and it would mean a 5-4 homestand. That one is smoked into center field. Headley with a base hit to start the 8th. Well, 7 in the books. Let's get you caught up here. Giovanni Gallardo went 7 today. 2 runs, just 1 earned. He's in line for the win. Martin Maldonado, for the 2nd time in this series, hits a 3-run homer that gives Milwaukee the lead. That was a big one for the Brewers in the 6th. Ryan Braun answered in the 7th inning with a 2-run homer. His first home run of the month of June. And that puts us where we are currently, 6-2 Brew Crew. Runner goes. Headley. Maldonado's throw is low and no chance to throw him out. Headley got a huge jump. Easy stolen base.
I mean, you can run. Look at that high leg kick by Francisco Rodriguez and Chase Headley. That's an easy stolen base. If you're Maldonado, you're just best off just holding on to it.
Headley stole a base in the 3rd inning. And now one here in the 8th for Carlos Quentin.
It's amazing how sometimes guys get to the big leagues and all of a sudden something clicks in. Maldonado, 4 home runs in about 2 months down in AAA. He's got 3 already with Milwaukee.
beauty from K-Rod in there for a strike. 1-2 on Quentin. There's got to be something to it. Maldonado, instead of coming up and having sporadic playing time, you know, he came up replacing Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy broke his hand. He knew he was going to get at bats. He's not worried about his name in the lineup. Man, he has contributed in a big way. Quentin reaches out, pokes one into left field for Braun. Was the first out of the inning.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with that, but you just never know. I mean, maybe more consistent strikes being thrown in the big leagues, and it's that comfort level. He hit under 200 down in the minor leagues in 35 games. I mean, he's starting to really swing the bat, coming into his own, and looks like he's getting very comfortable up there at the plate.
25 years of age out of Puerto Rico. Trying to fall in a long line of great Puerto Rican catchers. And probably one of the greatest of all in Pudge Rodriguez, Ivan Rodriguez. The guy that Maldonado idolized growing up. He's patterned his game after as much as he can. He's a lot bigger than Pudge Rodriguez, or taller anyway.
Yeah, a lot of the skill sets pretty much the same, though. Both of them great arms, good fundamentally behind home plate. And both of them brought that intensity to the position of catcher. Of course, Maldonado's got a lot of hitting to do to compare to Pudge Rodriguez. Yep. But defensively, you can see it.
Well, Maldonado hit last year. That was what really advanced him in the Brewers system. Between AA and AAA, he hit 11 home runs last year, and he drove in 59 runs. That one's hit hard left center. Braun closing. Hey, he makes the catch. Just reached out and stabbed one out of the air. Boy, he has made two outstanding plays in the outfield in this game.
I think going into the gap, and that is a heck of a play. By the time he got that ball in and stopped running, he was in center field. That ball was ticketed to the gap, and a run in, and perhaps Alonso into second base or third. But check it out, it's slicing a little bit toward Braun. He reaches out with that big long glove and hauls it in. That's a heck of a play. And Ryan Braun much better at going down the line than in the gap, but made that one look easy.
Well, he had some serious closing speed on that one. Braun, his legs must be feeling well today, because he is flying around the outfield. What a catch. Here's Mark Kotsay pinch hitting now.
2 F7s in my book with a circle around him today.
Yeah, for sure.
Meaning good play.
Doesn't count for 2 strikes, just 1, even though you hit it twice. And it's 0-2 on Kotsay. Kotsay is 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year. One of those hits was a 2-run homer that proved to be a game winner against Milwaukee in San Diego. 6-2 Brewers. Top of the 8th inning. K-Rod trying to keep it that way. Got a runner at second. The 0-2 pitch in the dirt. Braun made a catch in the first inning, robbing Chase Headley of at least extra bases, maybe a home run. It was close to the top corner of the wall in left, and Braun leaped up and pulled it back. One and 2 to Kotsay. Right off the end of the bat, and This is going to go as an infield hit. K-Rod probably should have just held on to that one. Good job by Corey Hart. He came off the bag and blocked that ball like a catcher. That saves a run. Infield hit for Katse.
And Katse having that little bit of a grin, saying, I don't believe I got that. Right off the end of the bat, a good pitch by K-Rod on a changeup, but Katse with a swinging bunt right down the third baseline. Good job by Hart, as you mentioned, getting off the bag, making sure it stays in the infield and saving a run.
First and third now. Rodriguez facing John Baker. Almost got away from Maldonado. How about that catch? Big spot. K-Rod trying to wiggle off a hook here in the eighth. Headley singled sharply. Katse aboard on a swinging bunt. And it's 2-0 on Baker. Padres have the tying run on deck. There's a good changeup. Baker out in front of it, 2-1.
Yeah, the old neutralizer for K-Rod when he gets behind in the count, able to get that changeup by a young hitter. Baker squeezing that bat, trying to hit a homer. And Rodriguez pulled the string on him.
Baker does not have a home run this season. Padres at the bottom of their order. Baker hitting 7th today is 1 for 3. 3 balls and a strike. In the air to left, playable for Braun. And Francisco Rodriguez holds serve. He gives up 2 hits, but he strands them both. Thanks to some spectacular defense. Braun's having a great game with a glove as well. That was in the first inning. Pulls that one back against Alonso in the 8th.
at Miller Park. They're having a good time. Brewers are up 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And one of the big offensive heroes in this series is Martin Maldonado. On Friday night, a big 3-run home run and a big 3-run home run here in today's game. Both times when his team was down 2-1, both times with 2 out, Jerry.
You know, so much is said about a young catcher coming up and having to start in the big leagues, what he has to do to handle pitchers. But Martin Maldonado has come up and done some very good things offensively. Really helped this Brewer ball club.
He is coming through in the clutch for this club just when they need the big hit and giving them a chance today to try and win this series against the Padres. So looking good right now. Perhaps we'll hear from Maldonado after the game. We're going to cover it on Brewers Live, get inside the clubhouse, hear from Ron Renneke and our on-field instructional, all on the way. Brewers Live post-game. Brian?
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. And those were clutch home runs, and those are killers at the bottom of the order as well. On Friday night, Maldonado hit his 3-run homer out of the 8th spot in the order with 2 outs, hitting in front of the pitcher. And today, doing it from the 7th spot in the order. Brad Boxberger is the new hurler for the Padres, making his major league debut.
And big opportunity for Boxberger, who got called up today from AAA. A 1-2 record in 22 appearances out of the bullpen for Tucson this year.
Facing Ricky Weeks. 6-2 Milwaukee, bottom of the 8th inning. Oh, what a thrill it's got to be for Brad Boxberger. See his numbers with AAA Tucson in the Pacific Coast League. He was part of that trade with the Cincinnati Reds. Boxberger pitched in AA and AAA last year with the Reds, as Ricky Weeks draws his 3rd walk of the game. Yeah, you can understand the nerves for Boxberger.
Yeah, he's got somewhat of an unusual delivery. He throws across his body. That front leg goes right toward the third base dugout. Kind of slings it across his body, which sometimes you would think would be tough to repeat over and over again. That's why he perhaps has some control issues.
Boxberger is a former 1st rounder out of UCLA.
It seems like he'd be hiding the baseball pretty well. You can see that leg. It starts toward the third base dugout, and then he kind of rotates around. Turns that back to the hitter just a little bit. Good live arm, though. 94.
Definitely. The Reds were using him as a closer in their minor league system. Padres liked his arm. Made a big swap as the Reds picked up the San Diego ace in Matt Latos. Padres getting 4 players in return. Latos has had his moments with the Reds this year. He's pitching okay. He's been hurt. Has an ERA over 4 with the Reds. Maldonado, a big swing and a miss. Down he goes. And a strikeout on the Brewer catcher. That's Boxberger's first out in the big leagues. A strikeout. Tony in West Bend in our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question. Do teams have scouting reports for pitchers that are recent call-ups?
Yeah, they've got scouting reports on everybody. I mean, what Ron Renneke or maybe Johnny Naron will do, will call down to the minor leagues and see if anybody has a read on this guy and figure out what he's going to throw. And if he hasn't been in the big leagues, it's tough to get any kind of video support.
Boxberger threw that ball, and actually Chase Headley had to come over and remind him, hey, that's your first out in the big leagues. You're going to keep that ball.
I was wondering what that was.
I think they were just cheering for your excellent analysis. Of the Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question. No, they were cheering because Nyjer Morgan has moved into the on-deck circle. Barring a double play, he'll bat for the pitcher K-Rod. It's Nyjer's bobblehead day today, partner.
Yeah.
You get yours?
We got about 10 of them in the booth. We have both different kinds, those styles of bobbleheads.
You got the limited edition T plush bobblehead, and then the more standard holding the bat. That's the one they gave away to most of.
Right. Yep.
Here's the Bill Schroeder limited edition. This is the one I get, and then Rock gets the T.
No, you forget, you got yours. You gave yours to one of our first round draft choices, remember?
Oh, I didn't think he'd take it, but he did.
He did. He walked off with it.
That was kind of a bit. Victor Roach, I'd like my bobblehead back. Says Tony Plush. 1-2 to Masonette, and a little soft liner up the middle, gloved by Forsythe, and it's a double play, and that's going to leave Nyjer Morgan in the on-deck circle. That's about all you're going to get of Nyjer Morgan today. Say cheese. Plenty to cheer about today at Miller Park. The Brewers have come up with some big hits late. Scored 6 runs in a 2-inning span and have a 6-2 lead as we go to the top of the 9th. It's not a safe situation, but gives you an idea of where Ron Renneke stands on this game. John Axford is on the mound to try to finish out the Padres.
Yeah, that and the fact that with tomorrow's off day, I'd love to get Axford an inning here. He pitched a couple of days ago. You can't keep your closer in the bullpen without getting him some work in the game too long.
And a day off tomorrow for the Brewers. They'll restart it with a series in Kansas City on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to Kauffman Stadium. Beautiful ballpark. I was there earlier this year. They've made a lot of changes to that stadium since your American League days, partner. And it is a beautiful venue. As Cabrera swings and misses. 1-2 the count. And there will certainly be some fanfare on Tuesday with Zach Greinke on the mound for the Brewers against his old team. Big hook misses.
Fold the ump. Sometimes you get a curveball like that, umpires fold. Been that kind of day behind home plate. I'm not sure where that misses, but I guess it's off the plate.
Count stays at 2-2. Good crowd today, a sellout. 43,021 today. The 9th sellout of the year. Brewers are being shut out through the first 5 innings by Anthony Bass on a 1-hitter. Braun drove in the first run. And then Maldonado had the big hit. With 2 outs, a 3-run homer. Took it from a 2-1 deficit to a 4-2 lead. And then Braun hit a 2-run homer in the 7th to add to it. Ryan Braun with 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and 2 great catches today. There's a called strike 3. That one caught the inside edge, according to Jim Joyce. And Axford strikes out his first batter faced.
Well, the first one surprised the home plate umpire. Not that one. That's the same pitch. And rings him up. Boy, that's a nasty curveball. He gets that over. Well, good luck to a hitter. Plenty of the plate, high enough, and rings him up.
Chris Denorfia batting for the 2nd time. He singled his last time up. Axford trying to preserve a victory for Giovanni Gallardo, who would improve to 5-5. Gallardo went 7 innings today, 2 runs, 1 earned. Gallardo's updated earned run average is 4.21 for the 7 innings today. K-Rod pitched a scoreless 8th. And now Axford for the 9th. Strike. Oh, I love the way Maldonado makes that call. It's never the catcher's call anyway, but it's just something about the way he does it. Watch this. Look at Maldonado. Oh yeah, that looked good, huh? Right? Right, Blue? He's nodding his head. He's pointing down to the umpire.
And Jim Reynolds bought it.
He's had a nice homestand, Maldonado. Slaps one to the right side. A base hit does Denorfia. Well, this guy, he can hit. And he destroys Brewer pitching. His 2nd hit of the game. He's 2 for 2. A man on with 1 out. There's the matchup for Tuesday night. Luis Mendoza against Zach Greinke. Kind of interested to see how Greinke handles the emotion of returning to Kansas City. Well, he had some great years there. Had a Cy Young year in 2009 pitching for the Kansas City Royals.
Man, the team that didn't score him a whole lot of runs.
Probably best that Greinke gets that start out of the way on the first day. And he'll have a couple of days to reacquaint himself. It'll also be a reacquaintance with former Brewer manager Ned Yost. You got Alcides Escobar, the Royal shortstop, part of that Greinke trade. A lot of connections between those 2 organizations. Venable bounces one over the 6'6" Corey Hart, a base hit. Down in the corner. And Venable in there with a double. So the Padres hanging around here with 2 on, just 1 out. Venable with his 3rd hit of the game.
And we've been watching Venable take good swings on pitches down in the zone for a couple of years now. He didn't hit it all that hard, but beat it right into the ground in front of home plate. Big hop over Corey's head. You got to hit it high over his head. And the tying run on deck for the Padres.
Venable with 8 total bases today. a home run and 2 doubles. Now Logan Forsythe. Second and third, one away. And Axford misses up high. Correction, Venable had a single in the 7th. Can't read my own handwriting. Fastball by him.
99 miles an hour. That's about as hard as you're going to see Axford throw a heater. Watching Andrew Kashner yesterday saying, I think I could do that.
A fastball with some angry on it. Putting himself in a tough spot here. And that one misses off the plate, not by much. 2 balls and a strike.
13 pitches over 95 miles an hour for John Axford.
.99. The Axeman is oiled up today. Good day to do it. Temperatures in the 90s today in Milwaukee. Perfect baseball weather. Could use a strikeout here. 2-2. Just got a piece. In and out of the glove of Maldonado.
And 15 of the 21 pitches that Axford's thrown have been over 95 miles an hour.
San Diego's young second baseman Logan Forsythe at the plate. The 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Elsewhere in the division, the Cardinals at home against the Indians in a game that is tied at 1, bottom of the 8th. Cincinnati hosts the Tigers later tonight. Brewers are 5.5 back of the Reds. And Axford lost him. Loads the bases. The Padres will bring the tying run to the plate. And their best hitter is coming up, Chase Headley.
Just maybe trying to overthrow after he got the count to 2-2 on Forsythe, who's had a rough series. Trying to throw a little bit too hard and ended up throwing a couple high out of the strike zone. So tying run to the plate with a couple of guys coming up that can certainly tie it up. Headley and Quinton. John Axford is digging himself a hole here in the 9th.
Put himself in the deep waters here. Bases loaded. 1 out. Chase Headley coming up, who has a hit today, a hit and a walk. He almost hit 1 out in the first inning. He was robbed of a home run or at least an extra base hit by Ryan Braun, leaping high up on the wall. A tight spot for the Axeman as Headley takes a strike. That's a good start to this at bat.
Yeah, because you know that Headley was just sitting dead red looking at that fastball to drive it somewhere.
Headley has 7 homers this season. Has 1 career grand slam. Axford looking for a ground ball to turn it. Got him to chase one. That's what the first pitch curveball does. He can use that high fastball, and at that velocity, no chance for Headley to even foul it off.
Yeah, you just get deep into the head of that hitter when you throw that first pitch fastball. First pitch curveball with the bases loaded for a called strike.
See what he gives him here. 0-2. Curveball inside. It's about a 20-mile-per-hour difference from the curveball to the fastball. Big pitch coming. The 1-2. Fastball missed inside. 2-2 the count.
Ron Rennick's been frustrated with that strike zone all day.
And back to the heat. Headley fouled it back. Axford is a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curveball, slider. Rarely throws a slider against a left-handed hitter.
Yep, 100 to 80. That's tough to be able to cover for a hitter if you throw him for strikes.
Tying run at the plate for the Padres. Not a save situation, but Axford in trouble here. The 2-2 and a bouncer foul. Came back to the curveball. Now Headley has seen everything Axford has. He's fouled off everything he has. Headley's been the toughest out in this series for Brewer pitching. Has 5 hits in the series. 5 for 11. Extended a hitting streak to 8 games in the 8th inning. The delay here, the baseball kept cascading down from the stands. Nori Aoki,
he disappeared for a while.
The Brewers had no right fielder for a minute. Do it again. 2-2. Maldonado sets up inside, and Headley rips one to right, a base hit. 1 run is in. Padres are within 3. What an at-bat for Chase Headley.
Yeah, the big pitch for Headley was pitch number 6, the curveball that he was able to foul off. Up to that point, it was curveballs and fastballs. He started him out with a curve for strike 1. And Headley fell behind 0-2 very quickly on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Looked bad. And then really tried to settle down and swing at strikes. Kept fouling him off. Here's the pitch right here that he fouled off. Pretty good pitch. And then the next one, able to line it into right field. 7 pitches after falling behind 0-2. Headley drives in a run.
Now tip your hat to Headley. And here's Carlos Quentin, who could give the Padres the lead with a home run. And he has been on a home run binge since returning to the Padres lineup. 5 homers in just 35 at-bats. The Brewers are set up to turn 2. If Axford could get one on the ground from Quentin, they could end this game with a double play. Quentin's not running well. He had right knee surgery this offseason.
Headley's the guy they have to worry about right now, the guy at first base. That's why the Brewers outfield very deep, trying to cut off those gaps.
2 balls and a strike. Anxious moments here. Renicky has Jose Veras in the bullpen. Axford's pitch count is now at 33. Still just 1 out. Well, Miller Park is about as quiet as it can be with 42,000 people still here. Two and 1 to Quentin. Strike 2. Caught the corner with a 99-mile-an-hour heater. Well, that changes the at bat.
Yeah, good as it gets right there, right on the corner. Not much you can do with that one.
Axford's got to make a big pitch. Big power at the plate. 2-2 on the way, and down in the dirt. Good block by Maldonado. Now the count goes full. This could be Axford's last hitter if Quentin reaches.
Yeah, Jose Veras getting loose in that bullpen out there. That would be something.
This is pitch number 36 of the inning coming for Axford. A little bit of debris between the mound and the plate. Padres have a run in. Chase Headley with an RBI single. Headley's the tying run at first. See what he does with him here. 3-2. Inning started with a strikeout. Denorfia cued one into right field, a base hit. Venable hit a line drive into right field, or actually a topper over the head of Corey Hart into right field for a double. A walk and another single. The payoff. Ball 4. Another run is in for the Padres. It is 6-4. And I think that's going to do it for John Axford. Brewer closer will be taken out of this game in the 9th inning. Bases still loaded. Padres are a base hit away from tying this one up. And Ron Renicky doing something he doesn't do very often. Take the ball from John Axford in the 9th. So it'll be up to Jose Veras, which will be a save situation. We'll take a break.
Bad this time to Carlos Quentin. Once again, he got ahead with a curveball, 0-1, then had a tough time, keeping the ball down. He got the count to 2-2, and then just couldn't put him away. Tried the curveball, a couple of fastballs. He fouled one off, and then a high fastball to walk him. So the walk scores a run, still only 1 out. And Yonder Alonso, who started this series not swinging the bat all that well, but he's been swinging it well lately. Jose Veras on for the 29th time. It is a safe situation for Veras. A .428 earned run average for Jose.
Now Jose Veras with 4 career saves, courtesy of Columbia St. Mary's. So Veras with a 6-4 lead, 1 out. Yonder Alonso at the plate. Man, a big bender in there for strike 1. Normally you feel good about a 6-4 lead in the 9th. But the way this inning has gone, the Padres have scored twice, still have the bases loaded. Axford has been chased, and a nervous crowd here at Miller Park. Alonso takes one down and in. Jose Veras' last save came as a member of the Pirates just about a year ago. It was June 16th in Houston. Go ahead run at first base for San Diego, and a pinch runner Amarista is in. There's another curveball for a strike.
That's the beauty. That's the key to his success. He throws hard, but he likes the curveball. He's able to throw them for strikes. That's a beauty away from Alonso that time.
One and two. Veras deals, and he lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. John Axford gets 1 out, struck out the first batter he faced, but then gave up back-to-back hits, a walk, another single, which produced a run, and then a bases loaded walk to Quinton. Tough day at the office for John Axford, and now he's hoping Veras can finish it off. A 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. A lot of curveballs against Yonder Alonso. Veras has not been in this position very often in his career, which covers 7 years. He had 2 saves as a Yankee in 07. And a strike called on the outside corner.
What a gutsy pitch that was right there. Breaking ball. I tell you, Jim Joyce a little bit generous on that curveball call. Boy, all day long it has been very tight on the corners, but it looked as though Veras got a break from the home plate umpire. Check it out. Boy, that has not been called a strike all day. Thank you very much.
One more out to get, says John Axford.
A little bit of a scouting report going over Jose Guzman right now, the pinch hitter with Jose Veras. Rick Cranit's having a talk, and he's ready to go.
So Jesus Guzman will bat with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And it's come down to this for Milwaukee. Tying run at second base. Go ahead, run at first. Guzman, as a pinch hitter, is 6 for 16 and has 7 RBIs. He's been good in this role. Brewers had a 6-2 lead to start this inning. Now it's 6-4. And the Padres a base hit away from tying this one up. Veras deals. Missed again with a curveball. 2-0. He's thrown him 2 curveballs to start the at-bat. And that skips away briefly. Maldonado able to keep it around the vicinity to keep the runners at bay.
That's a tough pitch to block. Fastball down in the dirt. He did it. Well, 3-0 now with the bases loaded. Check this out. Maldonado doing a nice job squaring up that shoulder and keeping it close enough to keep the man at third base.
Hit him right on the shoulder. Jim Joyce giving him a little extra time here to shake it off. Well, is Guzman swinging away here 3-0 if he gets one he likes? We'll see. Lost him. Bases loaded walk. And it is a one-run game. The line keeps moving for the Padres.
Yep, 3 walks in the inning. 3 walks, 3 hits, and 2 strikeouts.
6-5. And it's going to be John Baker who gave the Padres the lead yesterday. 2 bases loaded walks. Tying run now at third base. And Maldonado does a beautiful job keeping that one in front. Veras has thrown 11 pitches. And by my count, only 4 fastballs.
Yep, and 3 of them for strikes.
There's a fastball for a strike at 95 miles an hour. John Baker, the San Diego catcher. Curveball, strike, that dandy. 1-2, and now the Brewers have the Padres down to their last strike. I'm not sure anybody has any fingernails left in the ballpark, but it's come down to this. Veras deals. Little half swing.
And another great block by Maldonado. Boy.
Baker able to check his swing. Maldonado saved a couple of runs in this inning.
Anyway, he throws that right shoulder around to keep it right in front of him.
Baker, the 9th Padre to hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes with a tying run at third. And that one is fouled away. Somehow Baker got a piece of that ball. That was going to be a ring up if he doesn't foul it off.
I'd say Brewers fortunate that Maldonado's glove didn't hit the bat. That's how late he swings at this. A lot of times the catcher reaches.
Wow. Good
That
call.
could have hit the glove.
We'll do it again. Another 2-2. And he goes, no! He checks his swing, says Mike DeMuro. And the at-bat continues.
My goodness.
Right on the edge. Remember, that camera is in the third base dugout. Boy. Maldonado wants to make sure here.
Could have gone either way with that check swing, and John Baker gets the benefit of the doubt. Well, now what do? He hasn't been able to throw a strike with his fastball except one. It's been all curveballs, basically. He got Alonso on a 3-2 curveball looking. Your guess is as good as mine.
It's hard to say who's feeling the most pressure here, the pitcher or the hitter. Full count, 2 outs. Runners go. The pitch. Strike called! Veras dropped the hammer on him. Oh, what a pitch. What a finish. And the Brewers hang on to win by the skin of their teeth. Wow.
Oh, man.
6-5 final as Jose Veras dropped a curveball for strike 3 to win the game.
Well, it's like root canal some days, and there it is. Baker knew it. Best pitch for him to hit in that at bat was the first strike, the fastball down the middle. Boy, what a game by Martin Maldonado back behind home plate. How many balls did he block in the dirt? Holds it nicely for Jim Joyce, and he rings him up. Wow.
So the Brewers beat the Padres. They win the series and make it a 5-4 homestand. Still a lot coming up on Brewers Live. Craig DeShawn standing by.